It's your favorite YouTube dealer. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. I wanted to dive into some more stuff regarding Elvis, and I found a generous heart because one of you guys had recommended this to me, so I appreciate that. It's a long documentary. It's like over an hour long, so obviously I'm not going to do a reaction to the entirety of it. I will probably watch it on my own time here at some point, but I wanted to dive into this. I believe it's a clip from it. It's only 8 minutes long, so let's see what this was all about. If there's more stuff like this you guys want to see, just comment it down below. Let me know. I will most likely get to it because I love learning about this man and different artists. So whether it's Elvis, somebody else, whatever, I'm here for it. Just fill me in. But let's dive in. Let's see what this one is all about.
We were in Jackson, Mississippi, and he got word that a little boy in the hospital was dying, and that he wanted to see Elvis, and he couldn't make it to the show. He was too sick to get to the show, and so we loaded up in cars and we went to the hospital. And Elvis was wearing. Elvis met this little boy and talked to him, and he was wearing a cross that was made of garnets. And he took it off and he gave it to this child. And it was a real touching moment, just an hour or so before the show.
When my wife was, gosh, 9 or 10, and her sister was maybe a couple of years older than that, they would go down to Graceland and in the hopes of seeing Elvis. And they would go down there almost every weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and many times he would actually come down to the gate and shake hands and talk to people, and he did it often. Sometimes he did it by himself. Sandra remembers one time he actually came down riding a horse and was talking to him, and that just made their day, you know, and it just, again, shows the type of person that he is, that he would do that.
That's actually wild. I didn't consider, okay, so when he says that they went to Graceland, because I've heard that title before. Is that like where his house was? Was that like a town? I actually don't know, but I've heard that before. It sounds like them and other people would just sit at the gate around his house and just wait every weekend in hopes that they would catch a glimpse of him or see him, which it sounds a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I do get it at the same time. But what's really cool is that he was accepting of it. He would come down every so often, meet people, shake hands, probably take pictures. Well, I don't know if there was. See, I'm thinking with my mind of now, where everyone's got a cell phone and we're taking pictures, so it probably wasn't the same back then. But everybody just coming there asking for an autograph, wanting to meet him, just kind of have a little connection with him, and him being cool with that, and allowing that to happen, and not just being like, "Oh, get out of here! You're bothering me." This, that, and the third. Like, that's actually really, really, really dope to hear, to be honest with you. Because at the end of the day, it's people like this that will show up at your house, that will wait constantly and come back over and over trying to see you, which, don't get me wrong, there is a point at which it's a little bit too much. Like, there's some people that take it to a level that's too far, but there's a lot of people that do that because they just genuinely love you. And those are the people that will buy all the merch that you put out, all the CDs that you put out, or tapes, I guess, back then, or however it was that you listened. Like, these are the people that support you 100% and will spend their last dime to support that new thing that you just put out. Those are the people that you need to continue to make it and be successful. And I feel like he knew that and was appreciative of that and always gave back as much as he could, which is really, really cool. That's really, really cool.
When Elvis started getting that money in and started becoming, he wanted to share it. He was a sharing person. And his dad got in early confrontations with him about giving so much away. He would say, "Son, you know, we're pretty wealthy. Man, you're giving people houses. And you're giving guys on television you don't even know Cadillacs, and people that walk off the street in a dealership, you buy them a Cadillac, and pretty soon the bank account is going to take a hit." And Elvis would say, "Look, Dad," he said, "look, I enjoy giving stuff away to people. He said, that's how I get my enjoyment." He said, "I can go out and do a tour." He said, "I can do a tour in 6 weeks and make $2 million." He said, "I'm not worried about money." He said, I want to make people happy."
Imagine nowadays, he could do a tour in 6 weeks and makes $2 million. Back then, he'd be banking nowadays. It'd be absolutely ridiculous. absolutely ridiculous. And obviously the money back then translates to more nowadays, but I totally understand him on that. Like, if I had a crazy amount of money, if I had millions of dollars, if I had enough to where I was living comfortably and I knew it's going to keep coming in and I knew that I'm pretty much set for my life, like, just, I don't know, the thought of giving people stuff and helping people out that are in situations that can't, even as small as like going somewhere and being like, you know what, I'm going to pay for everyone's dinner today. That's in this restaurant. So here's a bunch of money to pay for everybody's food, or let me pay for this one person. Even just like paying it for, like, you're at a drive-through and you're like, let me pay for the person behind me. What did they order? Like, like, it feels good to be in a position to do that. There's just, it's crazy. It's actually crazy to me that there's people that don't like to do that are like, oh, I got all this money, it's mine, I worked for it, and they don't want to ever do that for anybody. Like, that's wild to me, because I just feel like there's so much enjoyment in doing that. And so that makes me respect him so much more to know that he was a similar person.
For all of Elvis Presley's accomplishments, I think his greatest joy, other than Lisa Marie, was giving to others. He loved to see the smiles and the looks on people's faces when he gave them things. He really was a generous and kind man.
The true measure of a man's success is not what he achieves and acquires for himself in his lifetime, but what of himself he gives to others. Elvis Presley touched the lives of millions and millions of people the world over. With his music, his movies, and his live performances, Elvis brought joy to the hearts of people everywhere. And even today, over 3 decades after his untimely death, Elvis's music and his legacy continue to have a lasting and profound impact on music and popular culture around the world. And yet, for all Elvis's phenomenal success as an entertainer, perhaps the King's most endearing quality and the greatest of his legacies was his enormous generosity to others who were less fortunate than he was.
I always felt like he tried to give back to his fans more than he took from them. And whenever he gave a piece of jewelry away on the stage, when he'd take off a ring and hand it to a fan, it was just an act of love on his part. He just loved his fans, and they're what made him work, and why he worked so hard was his fans. He loved his fans.
We got a guy in a group named Richard Davis, who was kind of he'd been with Elvis, he'd been in the Memphis Mafia, he'd been Elvis' stand-in in a bunch of his movies, Memphis guy, was a record promoter, and he was down on his luck. And Elvis heard about it, and he sent for him. He said, Richard, I hear you down on your luck. And holidays were approaching. He said, yeah, Elvis. Elvis gave him a brand new Cadillac convertible and $10,000 cash. He said, maybe this will help you out. And he said, thanks a lot, Elvis.
On March 25, 1961, Elvis performed a benefit concert at the Block Arena at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. This performance raised over $65,000 toward the building of the USS Arizona Memorial, which was completed the following year. This donation made Elvis Presley the single biggest individual donor to the Pearl Harbor Memorial. In 1975, at a concert in Asheville, North Carolina, Elvis went on stage wearing a huge opal and diamond ring on his finger. This ring was reportedly worth between $35,000 and $40,000. During the concert, Elvis saw a little girl in the front row who was sitting in a wheelchair. He took the ring off his finger and gave it to the little girl. There was no publicity about this, just the enormous satisfaction that Elvis got from seeing the look on the little girl's face. Elvis reportedly bought close to $700,000 worth of jewelry in the last 5 years of his life, most of which he gave away.
I was sitting by the stage, and he came over to me and he says, he leaned over and he says, where's your case? And he's up there singing, you know, where's your case? And I said, it's right here. He said, set it up here. I set my case up on the stage, and he just got jewelry out of it, and he was giving it to people on the people on the front row and he was just giving away all this jewelry. The difference in Elvis and everyone else was that he obviously loved his fans. He was so honest. You just didn't doubt that he was pure as a driven snow. He was just a good person, and people knew that. His fans knew that.
Elvis's great spirit of generosity, giving, and compassion for those less fortunate than him lives on to this day. Former wife Priscilla Presley and daughter Lisa Marie Presley continue Elvis's philanthropy and honor his memory through the Elvis Presley Foundation. The foundation supports charities and community programs such as Presley Place, which provides homeless families up to 1 year of rent-free housing, child daycare, career and financial counseling, family management guidance, and other assistance to help people regain their independence and self-esteem. In 1983, the Elvis Presley Memorial Trauma Center was established at the Regional Medical Center in Memphis. It has served over 80,000 Level 1 trauma patients from a 6-state area. Indeed, there is no greater gift one person can give another in this world than to give of himself. And for all Elvis has given the world through his incredible body of work, his greatest legacy to his millions and millions of fans was his kindness and his generous heart.
He liked to see the enjoyment. Because when a guy gives you a new Cadillac or gives you a house or gives you a free trip to Hawaii, you become elated. And that made him feel good. He didn't play golf, he didn't fish, he didn't hunt, all that stuff. And to give stuff away and make people happy, that's what he enjoyed.
That was okay. I definitely need to watch this entire 70-minute film without a doubt, because this alone, it just makes you feel good to hear stuff like that. And unfortunately, there are some people that will probably try to tell you the opposite. Oh, he wasn't really generous. Like anytime somebody reaches an amount of fame that Elvis did, there's inevitably going to be a group of haters that is going to try to tell you the opposite of anything that you hear or find out or whatever the case is. And every once in a great while, one of them sneaks into the comments, but the majority of people that are here are always telling me about all the positive stuff that he's done, these different videos where it shows that and so on and so forth. And it's like all these people aren't lying about it, right? It's not like they just get a whole bunch of people together to lie about this because he's not here. It's not like they're going to benefit off of him by lying about the stuff that he did when he was alive. So at that point, it makes it even harder for me to believe that anything opposite is the truth. He just seems like a great guy. I mean, this man gave like a $30,000 to $40,000 ring to a girl in a wheelchair. There's just not many people that do that. Like nowadays, there's whether it's a rapper, other like they have all these rings on and stuff. They ain't giving none of that shit away. Let's just be honest. They're not. Every once in a while, you might see it. There are some other generous people out there, but I don't feel like there's that many anymore. So somebody like Elvis was really, like, you know, he was a rare music artist in the sense that he this is what he did. He enjoyed giving stuff to people, and I don't feel like there's enough people like that that reach that level of fame and that level of money. Because if there was, I think things would be a little bit better, to be honest with you. I do think that the world could be a little bit of a better place. And it would set a nice example for people that, you know, help out those around you. You don't even have to have a whole lot of money to help people around you, right? You might not have the money to buy somebody a Cadillac or to give them $10,000 or to give them some expensive ring, but you can use your time to give people, right? Like you see somebody struggling with something and you can go over and help them and take a little time to make their life a little bit easier. Or you could see that person walking down the street who looks like they're super lonely, or I mean, like say a homeless person. Maybe you don't have the money to give them something to go and do something, but maybe you can stop and have a conversation with them. Make them feel like they're important enough for you to have stopped and spent a little bit of your day with them and talked with them and try to encourage them and inspire them. And you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't always take money to be able to do great things. So I would assume that Elvis was doing shit like this before we ever even knew who he was, before he was famous, had money. He probably did stuff like that, like where he would just talk to people and just maybe give his time. And then as he got money, he's like, you know what? I can make bigger changes and bigger impacts on people's lives now because I have the money to actually do so. And he did that. And I think that that's amazing. Like I've said this a million times. When I first started to grow on YouTube, I'm like, yo, I want to be the Black Mr. Beast. For anybody that doesn't know, Mr. Beast is a huge YouTuber, pulls like 100 million views a video. It's absolutely crazy nowadays. Back when I had first saw him, he was just doing some small stuff and it just elevated and elevated. But he gives away so much and does so many things for other people. And I'm like, man, I would love to do that. I would love to be in a position to where I could be like, you know what? One of the people that comment on this video, I'm going to grab you and get your email and I'm going to communicate with you and send you $10,000. Like I would love to be able to do that one day. I don't make that amount of money off of YouTube, unfortunately, because a lot of the videos that I do get copyright claims. So a lot of this is for fun. Like, but you know, I make enough to pay my bills and maybe a little bit to save on the side, which is probably not the smartest. I should probably have like another job so I could save up more money as I get older, because otherwise I'm going to run into a situation where it's not looking too good for me because I'm like, I didn't make enough money, but at the same time, I just have this belief that I can make something happen on YouTube. It's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get better. And the little bit that I do make will grow regardless of the copyrights. I have other channels that I do, and I just stick to doing what I love to do and hope that one day that it will get me to a point where I can do some of the things that he does. For now, I will give my time to people. Like I help out a friend who's dealing with mental health issues, and I give probably more of my time than I even should, to the point where it affects my life sometimes, and I've got to find a healthy balance where I'm also focused on myself. But I like to help people. I really, really do. And I feel like if I had the money to help people, I would happily do that. So to find out that that's the side of Elvis, that people remember him for a lot, makes me respect him so much more. And I just love seeing stuff like this. There needs to be more people that are like this in the world. And unfortunately, from my own experience, I feel like there's not that many. I feel like you don't come across that many people that are, let alone willing to give their money, but even give their time. Like a lot of people are, I'm too busy. I got too much going on. Oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. And it's sad. But anyways, I'm not going to continue to go on and on and on about it. I got to watch this entire film. Let me know if there's anything else or other clips from it that you guys want to see me react to, because I'm not going to do the whole hour thing as a reaction. But if there's another 8, 10, 12-minute clip that you guys want to see, just let me know down below. But I appreciate you, and I will catch you in the next one, homies.
I don't believe in the future, so I just look to my past life. I take all the lessons I've learned and then I create me a moment you can't write. It's different than dreams, it's different than wishing for shit that you see. It's something you build, you gotta shed tears, and if you gon' live it, accept that you'll bleed. This ain't a drill, that's just a beat. This shit is real, cause that's what you need. This is the pill, that is the seat. Take you a moment before you concede. I got a lot of shit waiting on change, but every day wake up and do it the same. I'm sick of my mind, it's out of control. I thought it was fine, but that was a phase. I mean, it's like, I got a chance, why would I blow it? It's all that I have.